grab a marker or a pen and I'll walk you through it. I got it started already. And after this, we're going to do a three inequality systems in our notes. Okay, that's the plan for today. All right. So you're going to get 1 mark for having the intercepts calculated correctly. So 2005, and that gets you 1 mark. You're going to get another 2 marks for rearranging, and that'll be for both, right? You're going to get a mark for each. So I take my inequality here, and I bring the 5x over already subtracting, right? So it's 2y is greater than or equal to negative 5 plus 10. Divide both by 2. No need to flip the sign. Right? Just write it like that. So if you get that, you get a mark. Okay? You get another mark for rewriting it correctly. And then I will just tell myself that this is a solid line. The true region lies above the line. I'm going to shade below the line. Okay? I don't really give marks for that, but then it would show up in your graph anyways, right? That's where you're going to get the marks for it. And then this one, you should recognize that it's a special case, right? You can actually just go ahead and divide both by 3. So y is greater than negative 3, right? And so that's a dashed line. Solid region is above. I'm going to, get it right. True region is above. We're going to shade below, okay? So we get a mark for that as well. Graph using reverse shading. So I will tell you how I would mark that, okay? So I would for sure want you to label X and Y and have the axes. So I would say for today, we're going to give that a whole mark, and that's going to be including the inequalities, right? So labeling, if you missed only the X and Y, half off. If you missed the inequalities, another half off, right? So but that would be labels, right? So look for labels, right? And then now we're going to graph. So I'm going to go 2, 0, 0, 5. I got to be careful right there. And I do expect it to go down. And my 5 jives with the 5, so I'm quite confident that this is right. And I'm going to go like this, solid line. And you're going to write down 5x plus 2y is greater than or equal to 10. And then the dashed line, this is a horizontal line at negative 3. So I didn't graph this on my calculator because I was quite confident it was going to fit. Right, so that's my dashed line right there. Okay, that's the inequality. Y is greater than negative 3. And now I'm going to go ahead and graph this, or shade, I should say. So this one, the solid line, I told myself shade below. Right, so you're gonna do it like this, and that's gone. Okay. Then we're gonna shade the other one below as well. So that's this. So this is your solution region here. Okay. Labels, right? So all the labels are there. That would be 1 mark. I would for sure take off half a mark if you went solid instead of dashed, right? I would take half off there. And arrowheads on the lines. If you missed that, take off half. If you made a mistake over here, I usually take a full mark off. But then I honor what you got here. As long as you transfer it correctly over to the graph, you would still get the 3 marks for this graph. Okay. So that's that. Reverse shading. State the POIs. So we're going to do that. So the POI is the intersection here, right? That's what we need to find. And you would use your calculator for that. I'm going to fast forward and just say that it is 3.2 negative 3. So you get a full mark for that. And obviously that's going to be different if you made a mistake here. Quite common is to have a 10 there at the end. If you had a 10, then obviously your line is going to be way up here, right? It's going to be a different line. So it should be different, right? It should be a different POI. Still give the marks. I would go step, check, right? Get the mark for that. Okay. All right. So for this part, all of this would be what? 1 and 3 is 4, 6, 7. So for this part, including graphing and POIs, that's a 7 mark allocation. So try to get it done. So if you got an equation wrong, inequality wrong, take off 1 and then assume everything else is right. That's how I would go today. I comb through it in more detail, right? So just put a mark down where you think you deserve there. Is 6 negative 4 a possible solution? So I'll figure that out. 5 times 6 plus 2 times negative 4 supposed to be greater than or equal to 10. So that's 30 minus 8 is greater than 10. This is 22, and that's actually checks out. And I'm going to try the other one. 3 times negative 4, because that's what y is supposed to be greater than negative 9. So this is negative 12 is greater than negative 9. And that is not true, right? This is false. Therefore, 6 negative 4 is not a solution. 1 mark for that. 1.5, I would say maybe half, and then making your final conclusion that it is not. Whether if you actually say true, then you must say it is a solution, right? According to your calculations, even if you got it wrong. So I take off half if you get this wrong, but your answer needs to be consistent. Okay, is the POI part of the solution? Show, work, or explain. It is not part of the solution. Comma, since one of the lines is dashed. Since one of the lines is dashed. So how could you have done it? Alternatively, you could have repeated the step here, and one of them would have been false. Right? Plugging in the POI there. Take off half a mark, right? Because you need to tell me whether it is or not. How are we doing so far? Okay, so this page is 10. The whole page is 10, right? Because 1.5 gets added to the 7. So if you want to do a subtotal there for that part. That's why I usually go with minus, right? Like if I tell you lose half a mark for arrows, go ahead and do a bunch of minuses, and then I just take that off the 10, right? So if you have minus 3 in total, then it's 7 out of 10. It's a little bit easier than figuring out the other way, right? Backside. More challenging, right? That one was probably, this one is going to be hard to mark as well. So I would say you give a mark and you tell me in the front, I'm not sure, but this is what I gave myself. And then I usually flip through them anyways, and I adjust. Okay. So for the first one, the intercepts are as follows: 6.67, 0, negative 10. So that gets you a mark. And I will do the same thing for this one right away. I'll do the intercepts for both. So this one doesn't quite look the way I want it. So what I do is I bring the 3y over to this side. So it's x plus 3y, right? And the 2 I bring over to the other side. And it goes back negative. Whoa, what just happened there, right? You can bring stuff over, right? It's an old concept, right? You add 3y to both sides if you want, and you subtract 2 to both sides, right? That's when 2 comes over negative. So you have x-intercept, y-intercept, right? If y is equal to 0, it's just x is equal to negative 2. So negative 2, 0 is it. 3y is equal to negative 2. Divide both sides by 3. Y is equal to negative 2 over 3, which is negative 0.67, right? 0, negative 0.67. You get a mark for that, for figuring that out, okay? So 1 and 1. Rearranging, so we're going to do that next. I take this one here, so negative 2y is less than negative 3x plus 20. So I brought the 3 over negative. And here is where a full mark will be allocated to this portion right here. In particular, you flipping that sign. And 3, this is just 3 over 2 positive, right? X. 20 divided by negative 2 is negative 10. It should jive, right? That's a checkpoint right there. So if you did not flip the sign, right, that sign is worth 1 today. So if you didn't do that, you lose 1. And then for this one, I'm going to go off of this. That's 3y is greater than or equal to, the x goes to the other side, negative x minus 2. Divide both sides by 3. Y is greater than or equal to negative 1/3 x minus 0.67, right? That should also jive. Oh, I just remember something here. Today we're gonna let it go. But I actually keep it like this. I didn't talk about that before. I actually keep it as a decimal fraction, or when I enter it, use like 4 or 5 decimals, right? 0.6667 or something like that, because that is more accurate when you're finding the POI, right? When you're finding the point of intersection, it's going to be slightly different if you go with this or 0.67. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so this one gives you a mark, and then this one was 1.5, but I would take a full mark off if you didn't flip the sign, right? So actually 1.5 for both of them. Sorry, 1.5, 1.5, but I would take a full mark off for the sign. Then I tell myself, a dashed line, true region is above, shading happens below. For this one, it's a solid line, true region is above, shading happens below, based on this. So if you did not flip the sign, you would have the exact opposite here, right? You would have the exact opposite. So I'm going to go ahead and I feel like this one I should probably type into my calculator. Just to be safe, you're going to have to do it anyways. So I'm going to do this one first. 3 over 2x minus, what's happening? I know what's happening. I need to turn off that. There. Now I know that it's going to work. So I take a lot of time to walk you through this because it's important for you to know how to do that when we do word problems. So watch how I do that. Negative 2 over 3, just like that. I'm going to do a zoom standard. Yep, a standard zoom will work for me. One is positive, has a positive slope, one has a negative slope. So one is going up, one is going down, right? So we're doing okay. It's going to fit on my standard screen coordinate plane here. So again, X and Y. I'm going to go 6.67, 0, negative 10. That's right there. And that is a dashed line. And I'll write down the right away, the inequality. And then the other one is negative 20, 0, negative 0.67. So that's right about there. And that's a solid line. Okay, and this one is 2 plus x greater than or equal to negative 3y. And let's go ahead and shade. Both of them are below. So I'm just going to go like this. Solution. The POI is going to be determined right here. And I'm just going to give you what the answer is there. The POI is 5.09, negative 2.36. And of course, if you put in negative 0.67, it's going to be slightly different. Don't worry about it today. Okay? If it's close, it's good. Close enough is good enough today. State a possible solution. So I would just go right up the y-axis, right? 0, 10. That's just an example. So anything that you pick that was in here is good to go. You get a full mark for that. So if you have the wrong graph, just make sure that the point you're drawing is in the solution region. You still get the mark for it. Okay. And now the last one, the funnest of all, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 1. You don't even have to guess. I give you the points, right? So the slope is negative 3 over 1 because you're dropping. The y-intercept is 0, is that a 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. And the solution is above. It's a solid line. So y is greater than or equal to negative 3x plus 4. Okay. I'll give you 3 marks. So 1.5 for this one. If there's a mistake, take off half for every mistake you made. How's that? And then this one is, I know why this is actually 2, guys. Sorry. This is 2. So this sign is worth a full mark. And then half and half. This one is a lot easier, right? It's just a horizontal line. So y, where's the solution region? Always focus on that. It's below. And it is negative 4. Right? So this is just worth a mark for getting that one. So 3, 3, and 2, that's 8, 9, 10. And another 3. This backside is 13. So kind of just do the math, like where did I lose marks? Take that off from 13. And that's what you get on this backside. $13 and what was the front again? 10? 13 and 10 is 23. Put a mark down. I don't know if it's 16 or 17. Right? Just put down whatever you think it is between those two. Don't make too much of a deal out of that. Okay. So pass it forward. Put your name on there.